I see Saeed is now joining us with EOS
Hey
Cafe.
guys,
Hey man, how you doing?
good. How are you guys today?
Good.
Hey Saeed, how you doing?
Good, good.
And Steam Sharks is here. Is that Troy?
Yeah, Troy.
Yeah.
Hey Troy, nice to meet you. I'm Kevin.
Great to meet you. Great to meet you both. Thanks for the opportunity to come on the show and talk about our project.
Yeah, I just saw your intro post. It just came out a little bit ago, I believe, 30 minutes ago or so, hour ago, and we'll share that in the chat. That was very well done. Even Katie was like, "Wow, that was really impressive post." And you know how Katie, she's a great writer, so well done there as well. So yeah, we'd love to learn more about you guys, the who, what, where, why, when, what drives you, and I guess Troy, what's your background? What should we know?
Well, background, I'm a farmer actually from Saskatchewan, and but as how I came along to Dan's blockchains was, I got interested in cryptocurrency kind of about, well, right from the beginning. I was kind of interested, but I thought it was kind of a bubble and stuff, and I was more a gold guy. But anyway, I came across this guy named Daniel Larimer and BitShares, and right from the get go, he was, his vision is to, basically build freedom, build it on blockchain, try to create ways that people can have more freedom through the blockchain. And I got pretty excited about that. And so I got into BitShares, and then I got into Steam, and Dan's blockchains just work, plain and simple. Mm-hmm. So when I got really excited about EOS and what we can do with that for all sorts of things, all sorts of applications to help the world make it a better place in a peaceful way, voluntary way. And that's really cool to me. And fortunately, it's cool to a lot of other people that are attracted to this project.
And most of all, he's a coffee lover, as we all are on this project.
Man, you are speaking my language now. Gosh.
Yeah, as far as drugs go, it's probably the best drug. Arguably, I've read a post where it actually helped spur the Industrial Revolution in England and Scotland or whatever. Well, maybe not England and Scotland. Anyway, but whatever. I read that somewhere.
Was that caffeine that spurred the
caffeine? Yeah. Allegedly, but that's just somebody's opinion on the internet, so I shouldn't have said it here. But
yeah, I mean, international productivity. I mean, we'd still be living in caves if it weren't for coffee, right? I mean, that's,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a great shirt, man. It says there's a 100% chance of coffee today on my shirt. It's like a little rain, but it's beautiful. So obviously I'm a fan of your style, and this is a curious project because you guys are merging kind of the physical world and the blockchain world. You're looking to set up cafes. We'd love to hear more about the whole premise of the project, how it came about, and what exactly is going on.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, from the start, our vision was to build, like, the first idea that we had was how can we actually increase user adoption of EOS? Or first of all, personally, I've been thinking about this more generally as like cryptocurrency. I've seen other cryptocurrencies be like Litecoin, for example, has been trying to allow people to pay with it in the LitePay. So one of the best ways to increase user adoption in the physical world is allow people to use it in the physical world. Mm-hmm. So that's where we thought of the idea. Why don't we allow people to use their own EOS for something that a lot of people do every single day? Coffee. It's such a small thing, but it's such a pivotal point in people's lives, right? So that's where the idea of coffee came from. And then we thought about, hey, like if we build these places, these are hacker spaces. These are places where we can actively promote the EOS ecosystem. And that's it. That's exactly where the EOS Cafe DAC idea began.
Could you get a sandwich too? Or?
Oh, definitely. So see, cafes are not limited. Like cafes are not just a coffee shop. Cafes can have like an internet cafe section. They could be like a hostel. They could have accommodation. But the central part is the coffee, and then you can build around that. You could have conference spaces for EOS-related projects, where we want to keep it very EOS-centric, but allow the whole general public to get involved in the EOS ecosystem and also promote EOS developers, obviously, who are contributing actively to dApp development.
So this is like a meetup space everywhere where you have a EOS Cafe location.
Yes, yes,
Right.
powered by coffee. It's like a meetup space powered by coffee.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say we're building out in the on the internet, trying to get as many members as possible. And basically, what's going to happen is different cities will be competing for the first EOS Cafe location, based on like people will just put worker proposals basically and say, okay, we want to build one here. We think that that this is going to work out here. We have we have enough members that are interested in it, and we think it's going to work here. So there's a lot of different ideas to make this happen. When I first started it, I was like, okay, this is a little bit crazy, but then it's somehow the love people have for EOS, coupled with the idea that people actually are visualizing with us. They're visualizing with us. Yeah, why can't a DAC own a chain of coffee shops? Like, why not? Like Starbucks exists. It has 27,000 locations. Why can't we have 27 locations in the most beautiful cities around the world with kind of built around the EOS community, wherever they have the most membership, that's where the cafes will pop up, and it might happen sooner than it's going to happen a lot sooner than I first thought, because I didn't know if it was going to happen for sure. Now I'm fairly confident it's going to happen somewhere, not soon, but because there's so many ideas on the Discord. People are saying, no, why don't we do this? Or I've already done this, and why don't we put the EOS Cafe brand on it? So we have like lots of different opportunities.
So
You're
Troy,
saying there's actual. Oh, go ahead. You.
yeah. So Troy, you're located in Saskatchewan, you said?
Yeah, I live in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and I farm just north and northwest of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Awesome. And what about you, Saeed?
I'm located in Calgary, Alberta. So we're pretty close by. Like Troy comes down every now and then, but we actually met up in the at a meetup in Calgary, like a EOS Calgary meetup, and Troy was one of the organizers for that meetup. So that's how we initially met up and discussed.
Oh, I remember that Calgary meetup. That was one of the initial meetups that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just so pumped about EOS. I'm like, okay, I live in this small town of 30,000 people. I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to be that crazy about it here. So 6-hour drive away is Calgary. I'm like, okay, I love Calgary anyway, and I don't mind going there. And I'm like, okay, I should start a meetup there. And then, yeah, the first one, there was my son and 2 members. And then one of those members that showed up for the first one became co-organizer. His name's Frank, and he's an awesome guy. And then from there, the next 2 meetups, like that Frank really took the reins and promoted them. And we've had about 25 people on the next 2. And yeah, it's just, and people like, we really should have another one soon in the next week or 2, probably about 2 weeks. We'll have another one in Calgary, because yeah, the people want it. Like they're constantly telegramming like, hey, when's the next meetup? So yeah, there's a hunger there for people. The interesting thing, not to get off topic, but the interesting thing about EOS meetups, if it's branded EOS Calgary or EOS London or whatever, it's branded EOS. You get a lot more programmers and IT people at it, because there's not a lot of hype like there is around Bitcoin and Ethereum. Maybe Ethereum is good too, but anyway, apparently my co-organizer of the meetup, Frank, said that he's been to Bitcoin meetups and is all like, okay, what's the next coin, and all this hype and pump and dumps and stuff. But you don't find that here at the EOS Calgary meetup, and hopefully it's that way around the world. It's real people trying to build real stuff on the EOS blockchain.
Yeah, I think that's something that Kevin and I noticed early on. There weren't as many when mooners here in this project.
Yeah.
You haven't been to the EOS Price Telegram channel.
Not for a while. I can't think I deleted it, to be honest.
Hey, I actually enjoy the EOS Price Telegram channel. They're fun, especially when the markets are going down. They're pretty funny.
It is hilarious.
It's pretty hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go for
So
the
the EOS Cafe originally started as something different, but you guys keep growing, and now you're doing a block producer candidacy as well.
Yes. So like when we thought about this, like cafes are not a minimal investment. Like cafes are big investment projects that can take up a lot of money to get off the ground and like maintain. So we thought about how can we actually build this revenue. And just while we were thinking about it, we had a meetup going, and luckily enough, we met our member who couldn't make it right now. He had to drop off his son, unfortunately. But his name is Swan, and he's a systems engineer. He's been a system administrator for 5 to 10 years now, maintaining like high performance like Linux clusters. So pretty much exactly where EOS wants to go with the cluster parallelization. And he was like, yeah, we can like, especially at the start, like we can definitely do this. It's just like a single computer for now, right? It looks like a single server. And so we were like, hey, like it's perfect. Like we can have EOS Calgary, and that's the way we've set it up. We don't want EOS Cafe itself. We don't want the cafe idea to become about block production, right? Because block production itself is a very deterministic role. It's a very technological role that you want to produce the same type of block every single time, pretty much. Like, so we're like, why don't we partner with the EOS Calgary as a corporation, which will manage all the technological infrastructure, while EOS Cafe does all the community building, does all the EOS Cafe infrastructure, helps develop dApps, and all of the cool jazz that's what we're really excited about, right? Because in the end, a lot of block producers will have the same technological structure, will have the same specs in a way, but it's where the community is that will be differing in, and that's where we're really excited in, especially with our cafes.
Oh, we're just having a slight problem with Syed's connection there. Can you hear us, Syed?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you cut out there for a little bit. Yeah, I think that's awesome. So your teammate is pretty much like the building out the clusters. Is that going to be a bare metal or a AWS?
Yes. So right now we're in talks with a local cloud provider. Um, so for now we'll be testing on AWS, just like pretty much every block producer right now. But by June 3rd, we want to be on a local provider so that we're not dependent on like a global provider like AWS or Google, because we want to avoid, if we can, the centralization of BPs on those networks. So we're trying to source a local cloud provider, and as we scale, we'll be building our own bare metal infrastructure, hopefully inside data centers, because data centers have a lot of like, they have inherent like redundancy built in. They have access to high network speeds that you can't pretty much get anywhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll be moving from their cloud to like shared hosting, and at the rate EOS is going, hopefully a data center in perhaps even a year.
A data center right next to a coffee shop.
Hey, the people working in the data center need coffee too. Could be right inside.
You've got an excellent point. I'm sure they definitely do. And I'm reading your intro post right now. I have it pulled up as well. And you guys, you've helped with meetups in Canada, Nigeria, and China, all around the world.
Yes, and I mean, we've been in talks right now. We have a huge Korean community, huge support from the Korean community, and we've been in talks and perhaps even having one in Seoul soon. And we want to continue these. Like, we don't want these to be a one-time meetup, right? We want these to be continual meetups that we keep providing resources for, that we keep supporting, so that it builds into like a monthly and a regular thing where people are actually not just learning about EOS, but actually perhaps developing their own dApps and recruiting more programmers and spreading the word about EOS.
That's awesome. So just out of curiosity, just to go off topic a little bit, in Calgary and Alberta and Saskatchewan, is Tim Hortons as big as it is in Ontario?
Oh, it's
Yes.
huge. It's huge.
Okay.
Yeah. They dominate, I would say.
Okay.
But
And
at the same time, there's tons of cafes, right? Like Tim Hortons is seen as that like pretty much like cheap, ready to go kind of solution. Like you go in, it's very cheap. Like Tim Hortons is very cheap and efficient. Like you go in, you have your coffee in like 10, 15 seconds pretty much. But like cafes are seen as that place where you sit down, discuss ideas, where you meet for coffee pretty much.
yeah.
That's not what Tim Hortons is seen as.
It almost sounds like you guys are doing kind of a foundry cafe, where it's kind of like an office meet space where people who maybe work from home or entrepreneurs, they can just come together and drink
Mhm.
coffee and also have a space to collaborate and
Exactly. We call them coffee hacker spaces.
hacker spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good deal.
Yeah, I think collaboration would be the key thing. It's about coffee, but it's more about collaboration, just whether it's online collaboration or people meeting each other face to face, as they say cyberspace or meet space in the real world. And yeah,
And how does the beans token work?
Right.
yeah.
So, Troy, do you want to start off? Troy's the founder of Beans.
Well, the beans token is basically it's you get voting rights in the DAC. Now, this is going to be on the launch of the. Right now, I'm just distributing them to whoever wants them. Number one, we're never going to sell Beans tokens. We're not accepting money for Beans tokens. Okay.
Okay.
It's only based off of you like being active in the community and participating in the community.
I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the more active you are, the more beans you're gonna earn for. We have this one guy that's doing essentially all of our branding, and he's just outputting stuff every day. And it's like, okay, well, you're earning a lot of beans. He's gonna be, a beans whale.
The beans whale.
No, I don't know. Not yet. No, there's so many. We've handed out so few of them so far and we have different plans for it's going to be in the white paper as far as how the distribution is going to go exactly. But at this first build up, we're trying to build up to 100,000 members on the Discord server. And right now we just, I think gained about 200 members in the last 24 hours. And we're at 3,100 members. So we're going to waste, we're 3% to our goal. Now, some of these people are showing up for free beans. And some of these people are showing up to collaborate. I'm not sure what the percentage is. It could be the 80-20 rule. Usually rules everything is the 80-20 principle. And so we're hoping if we can get 20% active individuals, that's going to be a win, and we're going to build some cool stuff. I'm not sure your question. Your question was about Beans tokens. Okay, basically, when the EOS IO community blockchain launches in June, we'll have a smart contract set up that if you have Beans tokens, you're going to be able to guide, you own and you guide the DAC based on your stake, just like a lot of other projects. It's guided based on its stake. And does that answer your question?
Yeah, you said something about voting as well with the Beans tokens.
Yeah.
So the way the system works is that since we partnered with EOS Calgary pretty much for the BP infrastructure, they pay rate as a percentage of their revenue. They pay a percentage of their revenue whenever they get a payout right to EOS Cafe. And that revenue goes right into, similar to like EOS itself, it goes into a worker proposal fund, the EOS Cafe worker proposal fund, which is then voted on by all members of the DAC to support perhaps projects in building up cafes, perhaps upgrading another cafe, which the whole community, if you own Beans, you can pretty much propose ideas to the community, which will then be voted on by the community and paid out by the worker proposal fund of the DAC. So we want to ensure in that sense that we do not end up having a fair distribution of Beans and pretty much have a decentralized autonomous corporation running as EOS Cafe.
What kind of services do you think that worker proposals will help spur? Like, what kind of needed products and services would a worker proposal fund?
Right. So, well, one of the things that we've been thinking about, perhaps as the EOS Cafe is self-supporting, is the ability to use EOS as like a point of sale, perhaps, right? That is something a DAC as a pretty much corporation together can like vote on and have developers develop that. It can pay developers to develop that for all of its cafes. Like that's an example of a service that the DAC could be funding. And similarly, a DAC could be someone could enter a proposal, like a well thought out proposal by a group of individuals that, let's say, we want to build a cafe in Shanghai, right? Then the owners of Beans would be able to vote on that and decide whether that project will be funded or not, whether that EOS Cafe in Shanghai will happen to be a reality or not.
Yeah. And as far as, yeah, other services, yeah, we're basically providing collaboration spaces. It's going to kind of have two types of customers. I would say when you build, you're paying a lease or you're buying a building or whatever, you have to exist in the real world also. And so you have walk-in customers and you got to provide them with what they want. So it's just like a normal cafe. And then we couple that with the crowd we're building up around EOS enthusiasts. Like they're going to want to come to our EOS cafes because, yeah, they got Beans automatically for being EOS token holders, and they're going to want to come to the EOS Cafe, and they're going to want to buy the EOS Cafe T-shirts. But the services for them, yeah, just be hacker spaces and collaboration spaces, and yeah.
So I've never run a small business like a food service business, but I'm thinking that usually their sales will cover their costs. What you're saying is that the worker proposal can go to subsidize probably the costs of a EOS cafe. Is that what I'm hearing?
So the DAC is pretty much like we are not going to be creating cafes, obviously, that are either not meeting their own cost or like not profitable, right?
Okay.
What we'll be doing is providing that initial capital that's needed to spring up these cafes. So we can, as a DAC can choose to either own the property, like the DAC. It could be an asset-backed DAC, right? Like it could actually physically own the locations around the world that the cafes are.
So the DAC could be on the title.
What do you mean, sorry? Yeah, on the property title. Yes, definitely. The DAC could be if we incorporate as a limited somewhere, the DAC, that corporation could be on the title.
Yep, and it's important to note that there's a Western world thinking about cost of businesses and stuff, and then there's the developing world. And I'm really big into investing in the developing world. And to start a cafe in downtown Calgary, downtown Vancouver, where you guys are from, Toronto, is that?
I spent some time in Toronto, but that would probably be the most expensive thing in the world, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be high cost, but
multi-million-dollar.
But guess what? We can start a cafe in Lagos, Nigeria, if we wanted to, for $1,000 a year rent.
Wow.
So that opens up all sorts of opportunities. Plus, you couple that with in these developing countries that I think the world is going to flip. I think they're going to are starting to achieve awesome stuff, and they're going to maybe outpace us. Just like they skipped, how they skipped the telephone pole technology and went straight to cell phones. That's a common analogy. They're gonna skip a lot of stuff and go to the next level in a lot of areas, including governance, hopefully. So we're going to these places can be opened up very cheaply, and then you have this society that's average age, like probably 20 years younger. The average age is than the Western world, or the developed world, I guess. I don't know what we call ourselves, but anyway, it's things could go upside down, and I'm really excited about. You know, it would be cool to have cafes, and I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It would be great to have a cafe in EOS Cafe in Seoul, Korea. Like that's a big possibility because they love EOS so much, and I think it's down to 70% of our memberships from Korea, and they're awesome people. But the costs in Africa and South America is just going to be, we got to balance that, and just whatever is voted for essentially, because we're not this isn't this
isn't us just deciding whichever cafe we want to build, right? This will be by adapt.
So these guys in the developing world, and just give them computers, give them internet connections. Let's talk about services. It's like they're doing stuff on their phones, which is cool, but like a few laptops there, internet connection and power. That's what they need, is because they're using generators and costing them like $3 a day for their own power. And
you mentioned South Korea. I think they have the biggest penetration in terms of crypto assets, right?
I think you're correct.
40 to 50% of daily EOS volume runs through Korean exchanges.
That's amazing.
So.
That is something else. Yeah, it's starting to come together to me now. I always had that Western world thinking where I'm going, okay, well, LA, the rent is so high and everything else. And of course, the margins are very slim with cafes. But I mean, it makes sense with, developing world, like you said, especially because they probably don't have that kind of experience of sitting in a nice cafe, having a coffee and doing some work, especially if they have the ability to work from a computer, thanks to blockchain, right? Thanks to the dApps that may come from EOS. So it's starting to make sense to me now. And where do you see these cafes initially? What have you seen from the community thus far in terms of direction for this might go?
So our main two locations that have seen a lot of support is Lagos, Nigeria, and Seoul, Korea. Those are the two locations that we've had in. And obviously the price disparity is huge between those two locations. So that is definitely something that the DAC itself would have to consider. But like, as Troy said, if the DAC has the funds, there's nothing stopping it from starting a cafe in Seoul, Korea, right?
Correct.
That could very well be a possibility for the DAC.
When it comes to hiring and employees and everything of that nature, how does that structure look, or is that still to come?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're still in the works with the white paper, obviously, but it would probably work the same way most DACs work, is that they offload parts of their infrastructure building or their services to limited corporations. They hire them as pretty much like business management people that manage. So there would be like a core company or a group of people that would form a corporation, hopefully, in that respective country, that will be managing the cafe and the daily activities of the cafe, while the EOS Cafe DAC would hopefully have the creative control and like the ability to promote EOS events and have all the EOS branding, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a really tough question. That's gonna have to be. Never really thought of that, having separate. But yeah, I think you're right, Zaid. Yeah, but definitely the block producers. It's its own entity, and as was explained earlier. So anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys launched a new website. What is coming up next for you guys?
Mm-hmm. So next up right now, we're pretty much we're waiting right now on from the local internet service provider. We're waiting on a static IP. We've had the infrastructure up and like ready to go to join the testnet. But it's a little weird in Canada that you need to have a full business account with the ISPs to get a static IP, which they don't have for residential because it's like dynamic IPs for residential. So we should have that figured out just in the week. That's like short term, and we'll be right on the one of the community test nets, probably EOS Net or Scholar, and right after that, we're obviously going to be continuing our meetups, and what we're looking forward to most is the international collaboration. in talks. Oh, Kevin cut out, I think. We've been in talks with DApps and other international communities that we want to collaborate with, and hopefully create more community DApps and let people of our community know more about the platform of like big other block producers around the world, so that we're not isolated and the international community is not isolated. For example, the Asian community, we don't want the Asian community to be isolated from the Western world just because of the language barriers. And that is something we've been actively working on, because we have translators and we have a big Korean community that
and the community that you speak of is your Discord, right? I believe you said you had 3,000 members there. How can people get an invite to that and get more involved with?
So it's an easy link. It's just discord.io/EOS Cafe. So
wow.
Yeah, it's just a simple. Everything is branded EOS Cafe for our thing. So you can find us on Medium, Steemit, Twitter. Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle on there? EOS Cafe as well?
Yes, we haven't started posting. Our first post will be retweeting our new introduction, but you can also, most direct updates right now come from Troy, who does it on his personal Twitter to like 2,000 something people right now, I think. But and you can learn all the Discord links and everything are also at our easy website, which is just eos.cafe. There's no .com or anything. It's like the cafe TLD.
Very cool.
It's EOS.cafe. We just launched a new website today too with the introduction. So yeah.
And what's the easiest way to earn some beans here? So they're doing the Discord, they get some beans.
Yes. So we made a decently lengthy Google form. Like you don't have to do multiple things, but we don't want bots or people to be like spamming it, or people just creating pretty much like bots that have like 1,000 accounts and then they get like 10,000 beans each, right? Like that could very easily happen. Like it happens with tons in Ethereum, where people create 1,000 Ethereum addresses and then register to get that airdrop. So we have a Google form right now, and then we expect to see you on the Discord. Be active, hopefully, and then you can post your BitShares. Right now it's on BitShares. Dan has said publicly that there will be a way, hopefully in the soon future, to convert BitShares tokens to the EOS token contracts. So we'll be looking forward at that. And if that doesn't work out, then we will be manually distributing on the EOS platform, obviously.
Nice. Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, no, I'm just really excited about the project and the people we're meeting every day, the different people that come in, and it's like, wow, you do this, so that'll work. That'll fit really good with what we're trying to do here. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about meetups just for a second, because there should be an EOS meetup in every town over 1 million people, I would say. And I just want to say that I wouldn't have had a chance to do anything constructive in this space without starting. The only reason why I don't know if I'm going to succeed. The only reason why I'm going to is because I started that meetup in Calgary, and I met a handful of people like that are just freaking awesome. And that's my two partners in this EOS Calgary Cafe block producer, and that's two. And then other people I've met too that are just awesome. And so if you do that, if you start a meetup, doesn't matter where you are in Kansas or where, or start a meetup for EOS, and you will be at the center. People will be emailing you. Then all of a sudden, bang! If you know a little bit about EOS, bang! You're the leader. I'm a freaking farmer, okay? but I coupled myself with two guys that know coding and know how to build a block producer, and we're serious about this. I know I'm kind of making fun of myself a little, but we're serious about this, and those guys have the knowledge, and that's all I'm saying. Start a meetup, and
also if you need help setting up a meetup, like we can set you up with a meetup.com account. We can help connect you to people in your community, because we are a global community at the end of the day. We have people from all around the world in our Discords, Telegram, and everywhere. So if you're thinking about starting an EOS meetup, you don't have one in your city, perhaps, come on in, like contact one of us, and we'll set you up with a meetup.com account, and we'll help you set up the meetup and give you resources.
Awesome.
And I agree. Meeting EOS fans in person is really an invigorating experience. I love it. The Telegram does not convey the excitement around EOS and the questions people have. And then, of course, the passion is there, but they are still learning, and everybody's still learning. But that's the best part, is that we can all sort of help each other and make the most of it.
What about an EOS price meetup?
It's funny.
That might
Pepe memes everywhere.
That won't fare well today. 20% down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be
the Pepe meme with him hanging himself, right?
It wouldn't be a family-friendly meetup, I don't believe. Yeah, thank you guys for doing all the work. Also, I see you guys in the EOS Reddit doing the daily discussion threads nowadays. You guys are really starting to step up in the community, so it's cool to see that. And I'm excited as well to see where you guys go, where you guys take it. Thank you guys for talking more about the project. And so head to your Discord, earn some beans there, and of course you guys will have the Twitter going soon, and the website looks good. You guys just got it up.
And check out our introduction. We just posted it today. Or everything we've pretty much scaled up our plans. So you can find us at discord.io/EOS Cafe, which is EOSCAFE. And we have the same handle on pretty much every social media platform you can think of. So go and follow us everywhere.
Top K-Pop was nice enough to put it in the chat, so everyone should have the...
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. A great project. I'm really excited for this one, actually.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're just as excited to build these cafes and hopefully have you guys doing one of these interviews in one of our cafes.
That'd be interesting.
I like that. I'll be slugging down that coffee like I saw Troy do earlier. Just slam that thing in there.
Yeah.
That's my style as well. So, get it in there. So
he's never too far away from a coffee cup. If you actually look at our introduction, we posted his picture right beside a coffee plant holding like a coffee mug. Like that's who he is as a person, right?
I thought it fit. It fit.
It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Yep.
We're certainly humbled to be invited on this program, by the way. Thank you very much for, I guess I already thank you for the platform, but to get our message out there.
You're absolutely welcome.
Hey, yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot for coming on. Yep.
Okay.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night.
Take care, guys.
See you on the Telegrams or the Discord.
Great.
All right.